Dude, I've been sleeping on these champions for way too long, man, and that's because I've been neglecting pushing into hard mode dungeons. What is up, guys? This is Cobb, and welcome to a whole bunch of epic champions that are actually quite accessible, that even if you're not using them right now on your account, you want to keep guys like Creodan the Blue in your vault, because they're going to go a hell of a long way towards getting your foot in the door in terms of progression in hard mode dungeons, right? Creodan the Blue, hard mode Fire Knight is the first batch of champions that we're going to be covering first and foremost. Creodan is an absolute beast. Against hard mode Fire Knight, the only way to reduce the boss's turn meter is by placing freeze debuffs against the boss. Creodan brings not only a multi-hitter, triple hitter actually, A1, but also with a 35% chance on each hit to place that freeze debuff for 1 turn. Very, very good. Again, every freeze debuff that you place against the hard mode Fire Knight boss reduces 10 meter by 15% against the boss, and multi-hitters are still going to be very, very valuable for plinking down all of those shield stacks that the boss has got. His A2 is a 3-turn cooldown double hitter, each hit with a 65% chance of placing freeze debuff against all enemies for 2 turns, so it can even help out a little bit against the waves as well. And then on his A3, 3-turn cooldown, strong increased speed, 10 meter fill, good stuff. Just keeps your team firing nice and quick. Also gets a little bit of 10 meter fill on his passive as well, by 5% for each freeze debuff placed by this champ. Yeah, he's just a hard mode Fire Knight king. I've got him, I think, in my vault. Turns out I'm completely lying to you. I don't have him in my vault, but if I did, he'd be a very, very high priority build right now. Anyway, man, before we break down the rest of the hard mode Fire Knight champs and then champions for all of the other hard mode dungeons as well that are nice and accessible, if you're looking to start off a new raid account in 2025, do it right now, man, using my beginner promo link down below at the top of the video description box. All you gotta do is be signed out of Plarium Play on your PC, click on that beginner promo link and use it to create your new raid account to get Elnaril as your free starter legendary champion, as well as a whole bunch of epic champs as you rank up your account. Clicking on that link will take you to this webpage right here. This is the page that you want to use to create your new account, and bam, as soon as you're done with the in-game tutorial, Elnaril will appear in your inbox like so on your new account. And that's how you know that the promo link has worked. Okay, man, back to the champs. Now, good old Creodan is obviously amazing for the job, but if you don't have a Creodan and you instead have the likes of a Neldor, who I know is a champ that I've actually got stored away, he's a great alternative as well. Very, very good champion. Again, triple hitter A1 with a 40% chance on each hit, replacing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. It is attacking in 3 times at random, so a bit less useful against the waves, but just as good against the hard mode Fire Knight boss. Also brings a quadruple hitter A2. First and second hit have a chance of placing decreased attack. Third and fourth hits have a chance of placing decreased accuracy. Just very, very nice, especially to open up with against the boss with just a big quad hitter right away to break down all the shield stacks. And then on the A3, attacks all enemies 2 times each hit with a 75% chance of placing strong version decreased speed debuff for a couple of turns as well. Also a little bit of self-healing on Neldor as well. Not just that, but his passive is very, very unique as well. Whenever an ally places a freeze debuff, this champion has a 30% chance to attack the target with his A1 as well, which is great because you can actually place freeze debuffs against the hard mode Fire Knight boss, I believe. The boss will just instantly cleanse them from itself at the cost of 15% turn meter. So if you're running, and you should be running, multiple freeze champions against hard mode Fire Knight to continue reducing its turn meter, you can also trigger some extra random attacks every now and again from Neldor. A bit more of a slept on champion, to be honest, that is not bad as like a starter option champ into the likes of hard mode Fire Knight is going to be Pan the Boarhorn. Now, he does only bring a double hitter, A1, but he's actually got a 50% land rate on each hit, chance of placing freeze debuff on this A1. Might only be a double hitter, but those land rates are pretty good, especially when you factor in the usefulness of the rest of his kit as well, but also particularly good if you pair up the likes of Pan the Boarhorn and your other freeze multi-hitter champions with the likes of good old ally attack champions. And some more budget options for ally attack champions might look like Farrakhan the Fat, one of the better ally attack champions of epic quality, of course, quite accessible to get your hands on. By the way, I should also mention as well that building a hard mode dungeon team only consisting of epic champions, it's going to be pretty tough to max out your hard mode dungeon stages using only epics, right? Generally speaking, most teams are going to be composed of at least 3 or 4 legendaries, but these epic champs will at least get your foot in the door a little bit. Or maybe could be paired up with a bunch of legendary champs and still find pretty good success. Farrakhan, of course, brings that 4-turn cooldown, ally attack skill where he doesn't attack in himself, but he buffs up your entire team with increased crit damage and whatever, and then all allies except Farrakhan will attack one target enemy, so he's a pretty good option. On top of Farrakhan, I mean, another budget attack, ally attack champion that everybody, of course, is going to have is going to be Morag Bronzelock. The only thing about Morag is that, yeah, she brings like the strengthen buff on the A2, so she's going to help out with survivability a little bit against the waves, against the Fire Knight boss, going to help kill off the waves, that kind of thing. That's all great. She also brings a double hit at A1, so she can help to break down the shield. Her ally attack skill only teams up with 2 random allies to attack a single enemy, and so there is a chance that she doesn't actually team up to attack the Fire Knight boss with any of your multi-hitter freeze champions. But again, if you're talking about just getting started into hard mode Fire Knight, she could do a reasonable enough job, I think, in most runs. Another champ definitely worth considering, even though, of course, he is not an epic champion, is obviously free to get your hands on from spending your clan coins on his fragments, Yakal the Scourge. So similar to Pan the Bohorn, Yakal does bring a double hitter A1 with that 50% land rate freeze on this double hitter when fully booked up, so pretty good. He also does bring a decreased speed debuff and a freeze skill wrapped up into one in his A2 as well, which is pretty good. Decreased speed is, of course, still going to be a very, very valuable tool against hard mode Fire Knight as well, so Yakal can bring that to the table, plus some of the freezes. Always worth fusing yourself a Yakal once you've collected up those fragments. Next up, hard mode Dragon, where hard mode Dragon is basically hitting like a freight train compared to normal Dragon, which can hit quite hard if you're killing it slowly, but yeah, hard mode Dragon just kind of takes that to another level, man. So some accessible champions that you can bring into hard mode Dragon. We've got to start off with Husk. Husk is going to be immense for offering some extra wave control with his attack all enemies A2, 60% chance to press a stun debuff for 110 on all enemies, but of course damage is based on enemy max HP, so the main use for Husk is going to be just blasting down the boss for millions of damage per single hit with this skill. Also being HP based, he's going to be quite tanky, and yeah, getting the hard mode Dragon dead before it can get a single attack in, I mean, you're talking about a very, very, very well refined team. Like, why are you even watching this video, man, if you got a team that can just one tap the hard mode Dragon stage 10 hard, you know? But Husk being HP based is going to make him just a bit tankier, able to survive a couple of smacks coming in retaliation from the boss. Most of your damage dealers, however, though, into hard mode Dragon are going to be the poison type and the poison activator type, maybe HP burn type as well. And Happy Little Venomage is just an absolute beast into hard mode Dragon, especially if you combo him with like some good legendary poisoners as well that he can then also be stat activating from those as well. His A1 is actually his activator, which is pretty cool. Double hitter A1, each hit with a 50% chance of activating up to 2 poison debuffs on the target. Very, very nice indeed. Of course, Venomage does also bring an AoE poison himself. Attacks all enemies on his A3, 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance of placing 2 poison debuffs for 2 turns. What's also really cool about Venomage is that, honestly, it's a pretty good idea to also bring decreased attack into hard mode Dragon. You're probably going to be copping a couple of big smacks to the face at least throughout the fight, and so having up a decreased attack is great. Well, Venomage also brings that as well. Decreased defense, strong version. Decreased attack, strong version if the target's under a poison debuff on his A2, 3-turn cooldown, 100% land rate. Yeah, good stuff. Venomage is a great little champion, man, to supplement your hard mode Fire Knight team. Another very, very solid option, champion that I haven't built out yet on my account, but I do actually have him stored away in the vault. He's there on the priority list, is Messianic Priest Ornn, who's quite similar, to be honest, to Venomage and how he functions, but he doesn't bring that decreased attack or that decreased defense. He's got more survivability instead to kind of offset that. Still a great champion. Double hitter A1, each hit with a 25% chance buck to placing a strong poison debuff for a couple of turns. His activator is much more reliable as well on his A2. Attacks one enemy 2 times, each hit with a 100% chance of instantly activating a poison debuff on the target on a 3-turn cooldown. Then, of course, he brings poison sensitivity as well as a double poison debuff on an AoE on his A3 as well. He's an HP-based champion, so again, going to be a bit easy to keep alive in hard mode Dragon. Yeah, just another fantastic option. Now, another champion that, again, is like technically free to get your hands on. I mean, by the time you're trying to push like stage 10 hard mode, you've probably already got yourself your Mithrala on your account. Yeah, she's a great option as well. Bringing a cleanser to the fight at a hard mode Dragon, great idea too. Mithrala can fulfill the role of poisoner and cleanser, right? You're going to be taking a lot of poisons back to the face when the hard mode dragon gets to attack back into you, and of course she brings that cleanse on a 310 cooldown on her A3, some shielding, the strengthen buff. She's going to drastically improve the survivability of your team quite a lot with this A3 alone. And then she's got the double hitter A1 with 100% land rate, strong poison debuff action going down on her A1 as well. So fantastic legendary champ. I mean, Mythral is an absolute god, everybody knows it, right? But yeah, hard mode dragon, somewhere where she particularly excels, which now brings us on to hard mode Ice Golem. And I've got to admit, I'm happy as Larry when it comes to hard mode Ice Golem. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue for me to be progressing it to Ice Golem, and that's because honestly I've already built out a lot of the good budget options for getting started into progressing into hard mode, and I've got plenty of legendaries that can help tackle it as well, so I'm not too worried about this one, man. I've done a good job preparing for this. First and foremost, Ice Golem, or hard mode Ice Golem rather, takes bonus, like increased damage from HP burn debuffs, and you can also completely bypass the boss's huge counter attack mechanic as long as you deal a lot of your damage based on HP burns and HP burn activation. Therefore, any AoE HP burner that can't weak hit against the boss, it's going to be great. Skrank is a fantastic option for this. Void Affinity, which always helps, right? Can't weak hit. 100% land rate, AoE HP burn. Also gets himself some 10 meter fill as well if this skill crits, and so just very, very nice. Another option is, of course, Mordecai in the Sacred Order faction. Mordecai is great, even though he's a Force Affinity champion. He doesn't actually attack all enemies and then place HP burn, because that might mean that he could weak hit with that skill and then the debuff will just fail to land. He actually just places HP burn with his A3 on all enemies for 210s. It doesn't have a 410 cooldown, but who cares, right? Just get the HP burn up and live when you job's good. But because he places the debuff, means that he can't weak hit with this A3. So it doesn't actually technically matter that he's Force Affinity. Also brings some 10 meter fill for allies, some 10 meter decrease against enemies as well on his A2. Just a solid little AoE HP burner champion. And yeah, great budget option into Spider and Ice Golem alike. Should have probably mentioned this a little bit early, by the way, but if you feel like I'm missing any champions that are particularly good and budget for getting people started into hard mode dungeons that I'm missing out on here, make sure to go ahead and plop them down below in the comments, man, as always. Another great support champion that I will go ahead and shout out is a champion that did a hell of a lot for me on my main account, got me started into Hydra for the first time as just such a fantastic cleanse and heal support champion. Epic quality, good old Doom Priest. It's all about her passive. I'm not even going to touch on her other skills because frankly they just don't matter. Her passive heals all allies by 1% of their HP and remove one random debuff from them at the start of this champion's turn. All you got to do is build your Doom Priest to be fast as hell. It's great if you can build it in a Relentless set as well, so she gets that 18% chance of just getting an extra turn and thus triggering this skill twice. Great support champion to bring into many areas of the game. I still actually use her, I think, in my Frostbiter team in hard mode Doom Tower, which is kind of crazy. Used her in Hydra in the beginning. Will probably consider using her into hard mode Ice Golem as I start to progress into that, right? The healing is great. Your team's going to need quite a lot of sustainability against hard mode Ice Golem, at least especially when you're getting started into hard mode Ice Golem. And you're also going to need many cleansers for your team to be removing the freeze debuffs and to be removing the decrease accuracy debuffs that the boss is placing, right? Because that can really screw over your AoE HP burn champions. It's great having a Skrank on the team, but if he's constantly debuffed by a big chunky decrease accuracy debuff, he's not going to get a whole lot done in terms of HP burning, right? So cleanser and healer all wrapped up into one with Doom Priest. Fantastic budget option support. And last but not least for hard mode Ice Golem, dude, who I can't help but shout this guy out whenever I get the chance. Good old Tatatsu, man. I love this guy. He brings an AoE decrease attack, 80% land rate, fully bugged up on his A2. Great stuff. He brings his self cleanse for hard crowd control on a 310 cooldown on his passive, which is great. It's just a nice little bonus. Makes it very unlikely he's ever going to miss a turn thanks to a freeze against the Ice Golem. Also brings an AoE increased defense and continuous heal buff as well on a 310 cooldown. On his A3, is he the best in the world? I mean, not really, but he did help me and do a massive job for me on my account, just maxing out normal mode Ice Golem. And you know what? His tools are probably good enough that he could get you started as well in terms of survivability into hard mode Ice Golem, at least the lower stages of hard mode Ice Golem. Good old Hatatsu, man. He's a little unsung hero. Brings a leech on the A1 as well. Just a great champion to pull in the super early game and has a good amount of stability on your account. Okay, finally, this brings us on now to hard mode Spider. And the ultimate epic champion that you want to hold on to for hard mode Spider is gonna be, I mean, if you're an experienced raid player, you're a veteran out there, you know who I'm gonna point to, man. It's got to be a Kemptum, okay? So Kemptum is crazy as hell. First of all, how is hard mode Spider different to normal mode Spider? Well, in hard mode Spider, the boss is immune to 10 meter decrease. Like, you can't control the boss's 10 meter, which is painful, to say the least. But if you kill the enemy spiderlings, right, that the boss spam summons, you deal like 3% max HP damage to the boss instantly. So it's all about clearing out those spiderlings as efficiently as you can possibly manage. This makes a Kemptum an absolute beast, okay? All you want to do with the team with the Kemptum in it, right, is just get any poison champion that can apply a poison debuff to the boss, because a Kemptum's poison is not 100% reliable on his A1, so you want any poison champion to get poison up on the boss. You then want any champion to come in with an AoE Hex debuff, which again, a Kemptum does bring an AoE Hex debuff, but again, it's technically not 100% reliable in terms of land rate, even though it's a triple hitter. So you want an AoE Hex champion to go ahead and hex all of the spiderlings, and then you would just allow the boss to take a turn because of a Kemptum's passive, which is the main reason he's actually on the team. So fully booked has a 100% chance of inflicting damage from one poison debuff to enemies under a hex debuff whenever their allies receive damage from poison debuffs. What does all of this mean? Because of the way that this ability is coded, it means that if you have a hex debuff up on all of the spiderlings and then the boss takes just one tick of poison damage, that one tick of poison damage will then, because of this Kemptum passive, just one-shot the entire screen of spiderlings, each of those spiderlings then dealing 3% health damage to the boss. And so you basically chunk the boss for like, I don't know, like 35 or like 40% or whatever if it's health, just instantly right away. And you can actually do that on repeat as well if you got like a cooldown reset champion to bring into hard mode Spider. Yeah, a Kemptum is just a beast into hard mode Spider, by the way. And if my explanation of how all of this works with the Kemptum in hard mode Spider was insufficient, don't worry, you can just type a Kemptum hard mode Spider into YouTube and you can find like 100 guides and demonstrations actually showing off exactly how that works. So an amazing champion right there. If you're going to go for a more conventional, just kill the spider and control and wipe the spiderlings strategy, Husk is going to make another appearance on this list. Again, just because of his A2. Big AoE smack is going to deal millions of damage straight away to the boss's face, which is lovely, but it's also going to either kill or control the spiderlings as well, both of which are totally fine options. Yeah, Husk is just a great budget option into hard mode spiderling. Another great champion who isn't really a surprise to anybody, to be honest, because he's fantastic everywhere, is going to be Deacon Armstrong. Particularly good, of course, into Spider. Brings the ally speed aura by 19% in all battles. Brings 10 meter fill for your team, 10 meter decrease for enemies, which won't affect the boss, but it will at least affect the spiderlings, and just make sure that your team stays well ahead of the spiderlings' 10 meter, and then brings that AoE decrease defense as well, which is just going to be amazing for wiping the spiderlings and maximizing your damage from, for example, your Husk against the boss itself. So yeah, Deacon is just an absolute chad. And actually also in the Sacred Order faction, we've then got Mordecai making another appearance as well, because of the AoE HP burn. The AoE HP burn route and just like controlling the spiderlings is still like a method that you can use for taking on hard mode Spider. And of course he also brings 10 meter fill for your allies, 10 meter decrease for the spiderlings, just keeping your team ahead of the curve, and also brings that increased attack buff as well, which is actually quite relevant when you're just trying to like blast down the spiderlings on repeat and just do as much damage to the boss as possible, and you're on like a real clock as you are in hard mode Spider's Den. So yeah, I think Mordecai is worth a mention for that as well. Now, man, with all of that said, I've got some champ training to do, man. I've got my Neldor just sitting here in the vault. He's actually nursing and holding onto a bunch of gear as well for some odd reason. What gear has he even got on him, dude? He's probably got some pretty good pieces on him there, sitting in the Master Vault. Got to go ahead and level him up. Yeah, if you feel like I missed any champions in this happy little list, make sure to go ahead and pop them down below in the comments. We've also got a max empowered Deacon sitting at level 50s. I've really got to max this guy up to 60 already, for God's sake. Make sure to plop any champions that you feel like I missed down below in the comments, man. That's like a quick assortment of champs, at least that I can think up off the top of my head, for each of the hard mode dungeons that you probably want to hold on to in your vault, even if you're not using them right away on your main account. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you also enjoy this one, man. If you're looking to start up a new raid account, you know how to do it, man. Use my beginner promo link, which is down below at the top of the video description box, to jumpstart your new raid account, man, with Elnaril as your free starter legendary champ. Whole bunch of epics as you continue to level up that account. Best possible link that you can think to click on to start a new raid account, man, with the best start possible. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.